Hey friends, how are you doing? How are the autumn mornings at your place? I hope you're taking it slow, cozy, and peaceful. If you have some hard time these days, if you feel sad or upset or scared, don't worry, everything will be alright. You're not alone, and you are wonderful. Today, I woke up with a strong, loud sound of birds outside. They sounded like they have some really important discussion. At the first moment, I thought I'm dreaming, because usually I don't hear so much birds here in Nuremberg. But then I opened the balcony, and whoa, they looked very panicked and kind of scary. They reminded me a bit of Hitchcock movie, The Birds. Did you see that old movie? It's a horror thriller from the 60s and a perfect movie recommendation for cozy fall evenings. Anyway, while I'm here in my art studio, painting this girl sitting on a pumpkin, I wanted to share with you my thoughts about the last book that I read, and that would be The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And my friends, I can only say, 5 stars review from me. I heard so much about this book on YouTube and Instagram, and I saw it in every possible bookstore displayed on the main shelf, but honestly, the name as well as the book cover were not attracting me so much. But months passed by, and people were still talking about the book, that I finally decided to buy it, and I definitely didn't regret it. It may be one of the best books I read this year. From the first page, I got hooked and read it in, I guess, 3 days. The story is about a woman named Evelyn, a daughter of Cuban immigrants living in the 50s in USA, her powerful desire to escape the poverty and hard life she had while growing up and to become an actress. Eventually, she moves to Hollywood and becomes a star she always dreamed of, but things are not as shiny as she imagined. To become a successful actress during golden Hollywood era in the 60s, she had to go through many ups and downs, knock on many doors, fall in love over and over again, lose herself and her dearest ones many times, all that just to get to the top of the ladder. And at the end, the question is, who is really the 80 years old Hollywood star Evelyn today? Do we really know her, or do we just think we know her? The book is heartbreaking, extraordinary, and has a surprising end. So, thumbs up from me. After my painting session, I got really hungry and decided to make a good old veggie soup. Is there anything better than simple warm veggie soup during cold autumn days? The soup that I made was very easy to prepare, trust me. The food recipe is from my mom, but it really has only a few ingredients. I like to cook, but I don't like to cook complicated dishes. Honestly, I don't have patience for that. So all my meals are usually very simple and fast. For this soup, you will need a few carrots. As you see, I had 6 of them, washed and peeled, and I didn't even cut them. They are fine as they are. Then, you will need 3 middle-sized zucchinis, and what I do is, 1.5 zucchini I leave in big pieces, because later I will puree them in my food processor, and the other 1.5 I peel and cut in smaller pieces. Easy, right? So, the third ingredient for this magical autumn soup is onion. I found this huge monster onion in the supermarket the other day, and I thought, let's try it out. Also goes in the pot. Next step, You add around 1 liter of water. You boil it for 20 minutes and then you fish out the big pieces of zucchinis and the onion and then puree it. After it was mashed and done, I added 3 soup cubes that I dissolved in a bit of warm water. And voila! Of course, I had to put some fresh parsley for the aroma. Bon appétit! After lunch, I continued with my painting, and it was going pretty fine. I had to repaint her hair a few times because it was just not working, but at the end, it turned out pretty okay, I would say. I'm really enjoying this kind of simplified illustration lately. It is not what I usually paint, so it feels new and exciting for me. And since I was sitting at home the whole day, it was time to take a walk and breathe some fresh air. I will take you with me to my favorite bookstore here in Germany, called Thalia. Let's go! That was nice and relaxing. Now, let's bake some bread for dinner. I started baking my bread maybe 1 year ago, when I decided to eat less gluten, not because I'm allergic, but because I feel better while eating gluten-free cakes and breads, as well as yeast-free bread. And this bread that I made, I found the recipe online, but I modified it pretty much to be as simple as possible. So, the base of my bread is flaxseed flour. You will need around 330 grams of flaxseed flour, 80 grams of sunflower seeds, 80 grams of pumpkin seeds, salt, and 2 little packages of baking powder. Mix it all together. In another bowl, you will mix eggs. So, the part with eggs is a bit tricky. The recipe says to put 6 eggs, which to me always sounded a lot, so I started putting 5 eggs, and it worked out pretty fine. This time, in the last moment, I decided to try how it goes with 4 eggs, but it was not that good, so I recommend you to stay with 5 eggs. Then, you add half a liter of warmer water and mix slowly everything. It will start to look like bread though, trust me. Don't worry. I like to make smaller balls instead of a big bread loaf. Then it goes in the preheated 180 to 190 degrees oven for around 80 minutes. And here they are, my little breads. Yummy. Hope, my friends, you enjoyed the day with me. I had a really great time while painting, cooking, visiting my favorite bookstore and baking for dinner. Time for good night. Thank you for being here. Take care. Bye bye.